Hi guys, welcome to Fanaan. We're going to be interviewing Minelle today.
Hi guys, this is Minelle. I'm an artist and I host Sip and Paint nights. I'm sure you've heard of them, they're really fun. I also do children's classes, but yeah, I think this is about all my art field today and what I do.
And on top of that, you also run a whole household.
Yes.
Yeah. So starting off, I just want to ask you, what exactly inspired you to start hosting these Sip and Paints? And how did this concept start evolving over time?
There was nothing to do in Karachi, Pakistan at all apart from I think going out eating or going to people's houses or the same stuff again and again. So the concept of bringing Sip and Paint was that you go to someone's house or you have a space where you can do something new and get a little creative, because I feel like a lot of people don't get to experience a creative side.
They don't.
And so it all started with let's get people to paint. And honestly, after having a baby, which was about 4 years back, I haven't painted for a while. So I was like, maybe in this way I get to get people to paint, and then somehow I get back into that. So that's basically why I started this.
And by profession, you are an artist.
Yes.
After having a child, you wanted to get back in touch with your creative side.
Yeah.
There's obviously nothing to do these days. You're so right. Like, you can either go to a restaurant, you can go to the mall, and it's so unfulfilling. So I feel like these Sip and Paints are very fun.
Yeah, so it was a mixture of, I think, one, having nothing to do here apart from the usual, and then it was like I did want to get back into my creative side.
Amazing. So now that we've kind of understood how you got inspired to kind of create this whole Sip and Paint situation and host these, I kind of want to ask you to walk us through how you come up with these themes and how you come up with the ideas behind these Sip and Paints.
So my initial idea was that I wanted everyone to kind of come to a space where you can make a painting that you can actually take home and put up and be like, oh my god, I made that. So I wanted to draw them from before, where an image is already drawn. You have a reference, and so okay, it'll look like this. So keep it very minimal, very simple. The point was not to, I guess, get stressed out or it seem like it's a workshop. Oh my god, how am I going to finish this? It was just supposed to be very simple, fun painting. You come with your friends, you kind of have this space where you're creating art together and you get to take that painting home.
That's actually a really fun concept, because not only is it easy, I feel like when I started painting, it's very daunting, you know? It's like, what will I put? Which colors will I put? I take half an hour trying to choose my inspiration. So I feel like with this way, when you choose a theme, for example, you've done Santorini themes and you've done an orange and a tangerine theme.
I've done African art as well. So very minimal stuff first, like sunsets or something. I mean, if you've seen my references around, they're very simple paintings, and then so I built up from there. So first I started very sunset, very floral sunset type, and I had some theme nights where I connected art and music together and had a bigger Sip and Paint event where, for example, I did an African art one, and there it was more selected work which was all simple but yet in the African art theme, and everyone kind of was painting a similar theme but yet different images.
That's amazing. And so I'm guessing that these trends that you're taking, these are trends from today for the themes, right?
Yes, yeah.
And they also come very from within, because I would have never imagined in Karachi we're sitting and we're doing a cool African themed sunset situation,
Yeah.
So they're very personal, yet you get your inspiration from the trends.
Yeah.
And the trends of today, for example, your African one, I feel like that one was very cool, where you had a sort of party situation going on, and it's everyone's having a good time, they're painting. So what inspired you to get into that type of theme,
So initially when I first started, it was very small, home based. I think my first group was 5 people, then I built it up to 15 people, and then from there I kept doing at people's houses, so private events. And then I was like, you know what, instead of doing it at private events, let's do an event where anyone can come and sign up and do it. And actually that turned out to be so good, because I was expecting maybe 20-30 people, but it ended up being about 70 people my first time.
Amazing.
And I think the concept started when I wanted to kind of blend the whole music and art together, because music has been very important to me during my whole art practice as well, and I wanted to create a space where I can highlight the person creating music. So I was like, I need to find a DJ or someone who can come in and have something live, because again, like you're painting live, everyone's kind of like doing it in the moment.
Yeah.
So the music, instead of just having a playlist on the side, I wanted to have someone actually there creating that music on spot.
Yeah.
So that's how it came up. I really want to do this concept in Karachi where I have a DJ and I can get someone to come and create music in that space while everyone paints. Amazing. So we built it from there, and it was.
And that's
really
actually
nice.
so trendy these days.
Yeah. And then other themes like boho's really in, like African music and art both were in, so we connected that. I did one. A Santorini one again. Santorini is like everyone loves the blue and white combination.
And it's so inspirational when you're actually hearing someone creating music on their set, and your paintings, like their energy is also kind of bouncing off of you, other people's energy is bouncing off. So I feel like that's a great space to be. I've kind of understood how you got inspired and how you got into it and what contributed, but I actually want to get a bit deeper into the contribution part and ask, how has this contributed to your personal experiences, your own growth as an artist, and your creative projects?
The main aspect of me starting a Sip and Paint was also to get a feeler of how other people painted and how it worked out for them, and just like watching them was, so amazing. But I think it's helped me so much because when I just saw people picking up a paintbrush, no art background, so confident, having so much fun, like they got music, they're chilling, they're laughing, there was no like technical skill involved, nothing, just the spontaneity of being able to just paint and create this beautiful piece at the end of it and be so proud of it. I was like, wow, I don't know why I spent hours like thinking of a theme and like what to paint, and it should be this way, that way, like too technical, and I think it just helped me loosen up a lot as compared to before when I was very like, my paintings, I'm a very precise person, a perfectionist, so it's very like my painting has to be this way. So this has helped me kind of like let go a little bit, which has been really, really nice.
Loosen the boundaries, push the boundaries a bit, And I also feel like since this was so personal to you that you started this when you were in a bit of a creative block, I would say, because you had other responsibilities. When you did start this and you saw all these people enjoying with the work that you created, it must have been inspirational. It must have given you that push ahead,
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I haven't painted in a long time, and just seeing everyone paint so quick and so fast and so happily, I was like, you know what, I can do this again. Like I don't need to think that, oh my god, I need so much time to do it, because paintings for me was a practice where I could spend like hours and hours just painting, but obviously with limited time after a baby and house responsibilities, I was like, who's gonna sit and like take everything out and paint? But I feel like with the Sip and Paints, it's just been 2-hour sessions and everyone is so productive. I was like, I can do this as well. And
that's great insight, like on the life of an artist, because you always get like the life of an artist, I feel, should be a very freeing life and a very like inspirational life, and then when you're actually stuck in like practical things that you have to do, it's like it's very natural to feel that type of block, or to feel that I don't really need to take out all the stuff, I'm already doing so much, like raising a kid, managing a household. So I feel like that must have been very inspirational for you as well. So now that we've kind of understood how Minelle has started to navigate through her family life with her passion, we also understand that starting these Sip and Paints has pushed her own creative side forward. It's helped her push boundaries. It's helped her be a little bit flexible around her own, like I feel like her own passions, the stuff that she actually wants to do. Since you started Sip and Paint, I feel like you've built like a good connection, good networking around it, to the point where your slots are always full. In fact, they're overflowing. You need to quickly just like whip up stuff. I've seen you whip up stuff between your Sip and Paint so that extra people can even come when they have overbooked and stuff. So for an aspiring artist who actually wants to start their own line of work, such as Sip and Paint, what advice would you give them?
I think so. Something like Sip and Paint it's a new concept, and I feel like in Karachi, when you want to do something new, because of the lack of things happening, it will always be a good idea. So initially, I was obviously very nervous about starting something new that no one's ever done before. A lot of new stuff has come up, blending, art with activities or being creative. Like you have pottery now, you've got like the tote bags that's been going on, furniture painting that's also been going on from before. So I feel like it has opened up a new avenue to kind of create a lot of different kind of activities.
Yeah.
With the creative side.
And the day and age that we're in right now, I feel like if you do just push yourself, get into it, you know, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. But for example, if aspiring artists do have interesting new ideas, they should move forward with them.
Yes, for sure, definitely. And a lot of people in the city, there are lots of different areas where you can do it, and I feel like I've just been hearing of different sip and paints like in KDA or in like Gulshan or in like Nazmabad, and I feel like all of Karachi has been now starting it, so it's really great actually.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I feel like we know how you kind of get onto the trends and how you make it trendy, upcoming, but a tough side that I want to ask you about is have you ever faced skepticism about the sip part of the sip and paint?
Yeah, this is everyone's favorite question. So, sip and paint started actually to involve any beverage. Like the whole point of creating the sip and paint was not just to make a painting, because again, that feels very workshopish to me, right? Like you're going for a class, or like it's a workshop, or someone's teaching you how to paint. For me, a sip and paint activity was supposed to be more social. Like you're supposed to come to a place where you meet like-minded people, you're gonna have a drink on the side, it could be a tea, coffee, lemonade, whatever, you have snacks, it's like nuts and chips, and then you get to basically have a whole experience while you paint. So it's not just, okay, I'm learning how to paint, it's more like, what is the ambience like? There's music, there's, you know, you're having your favorite beverage, or you're snacking at the same time, you're talking to people. So it was all about the social experience. So sip is literally whatever beverage you want.
Yeah, your beverage of choice. So I feel like the sip part, it's taken in a very kind of literal sense, but it's not that deep, because just as you would go for coffee with a friend and enjoy that whole experience of going for coffee with a friend, that's what sip and paint is actually about.
Yeah. Okay. It is about the experience rather than what you're gonna sip.
So you really shouldn't focus on that part. Like, what are you doing? Why are you focusing on that?
I know, I'll be done in like literally 2 minutes.
Do you ever have rainbow swirl by any chance? So Minelle, I actually want to get further into like the darker side of things, since we've already covered the skepticism that you faced. And now I kind of want to ask, what are the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome while running and hosting these sip and paints?
I mean, definitely managing time. You know, so I think when she's in school or when I have a little bit of free time, I'm like scrambling to kind of prepare, because the sip and paints actually, there's a lot of preparation for it. And so
managing time around
around family and her especially.
Times do come where you have to kind of prioritize different things, and it's like, I'm sure you've been faced with like challenges as such as, you know, I need to pick up Nurel from some place, or I need to quickly finish up these stencils, and it's like, how do you navigate through that?
I have to take bookings accordingly as well. If I feel like there are too many coming up, then I have to refuse some, because obviously I have to give her time. So it's a lot of pick and choose. It's a lot of when I'm free, when I'm not. So very go with the flow. I'm just riding the wave as it is.
Nice, that's cool. That's actually cool. To this art business is not easy, especially when you're navigating through a lot of practical things that are already in your life. So I actually want to ask you, for aspiring artists, when they're looking to find their niche and kind of merge it with a business prospect or a creative prospect, how should they do so? How should they navigate around?
I mean, I think starting anything new in general is very challenging. I mean, you are very hesitant, especially if it's a new concept, you don't know if it's going to work out. I feel like I would say believe in, I think, your purpose behind doing it. Stay very committed. I think when I first started, it was very slow, but I stuck to my commitment. I was like, even if it's 3 people or 4 people, I just want to keep building. Take every opportunity, keep building it, see how it goes. Don't give up. I know initially it seems very dry and very slow, but like I said previously, there's a lot we need to do in this country, I feel. So new stuff does really kick off. And I think commitment is is the main thing.
And also like staying consistent, as you said,
Yes.
that you did pick a pace, even though it was slow, it was your own pace, but you stayed like showing up for yourself.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to aspiring artists essentially to just get up and show up, you know?
Yeah, even if it's 2 people, even if it's something you haven't envisioned in terms of your audience, just go do it and someone or the other will appreciate it. And I think that's where you keep building your platform from there, build your clientele from there, and you pick and choose your niche market also. And I think that has really helped me because one of my main challenges were dealing with such a big audience. I didn't know where do I go, people's houses. I didn't know who's coming over at my house. So you learn, like I did a referral program as well where someone had to know me or someone who knew me. And then like I said, as you kept doing them, it just became a lot easier and I got the hang of it.
I feel like with that, what we take away is one of the challenges that Minelle did face was kind of trying to see who all would appreciate her work and who she would want in that setting. And as you said, the referral, like that's a very good idea. So what she did was she used like a business aspect of it, and she was like, okay, so if I know someone or someone knows me through another person, then they're invited, and then to keep it also exclusive. You don't want everyone coming, like you don't want every person out there coming and sitting at these sip and paints.
Yeah, and I think the exclusivity of it also helped because I wanted to create a safe space, right? It has to be someone or a space that has like-minded people, people who are willing to enjoy that activity as much as you, so that obviously the vibe for everyone is similar. So yeah, it makes, I think, the referral program has really helped me. So always pick and choose your audience also to let them know what you're doing, but also be open to
a lot of different types of audience. Okay, to basically bring in a like-minded crowd. Okay, that's actually very interesting because as an artist, when you're starting off, you're thinking, oh, I need to make these many stencils, these many paints, whatever. But then you kind of go deeper into it and you're like, I don't want everyone coming here. And there are a certain amount of people that I want to be entertaining here so that they're like-minded, their energy is bouncing off, everyone's feeling comfortable and safe essentially. And that's what your art spaces do make me even feel, when I've sat in those certain paints, I felt, okay, I can be myself, I can paint around, there's no judgment, you know. So that I feel like the referral program, staying consistent as you said, staying committed, and picking your pace, like as you explained. So those are the things that aspiring artists could take away from Minelle's experience. Okay, so now that we've kind of understood the positives that you had to deal with, the inspiration, the negatives that you had to overcome, I'm going to ask you a very up close and personal question. So Minelle, can I ask you what your favorite color is?
It's actually blue.
It's blue, okay. So let's just say I'm this crazy scientist, I make a big blue time machine and I set it to 10 years back, okay? So instead of 2025, you sit in that time machine, you run out and it's 2015 and you see younger Minelle there. So what would you tell her? Like it can be connected to your work, it can be connected to anything. Like what advice would you give your own younger self and kind of tell her like 10 years prior to where you are now?
Definitely to just go for it. I feel like I think a lot. Like I said before, I'm a perfectionist. Everything has to be very technical and in a certain way, very detail oriented. So I would just be like, go for it. Just do it. Things will fall into place. I think while starting Sip and Paint also, I was very hesitant, and I think I did take longer to start it up just because I was overthinking, I'm going to be judged or people going to come, and just the whole aspect of, is it going to work, but I feel like, these things work out, and if you're not going to do it, it's not going to happen. And if 10 years back, I would have told myself, just go ahead and do it, so I could have started this earlier maybe, and
maybe you
got more time.
Got a lot more time on your hands. Also, as you mentioned, you're a perfectionist. And so for people who are perfectionists, I feel like they're very hands-on with their work. In the sense that they want to be in control of everything because they need it to be their way. So that must have been something that you also had to kind of loosen up the reins on and work around, right?
In fact, I do deal with it now when I do the Sip and Paints because I hand draw each canvas myself, and everyone tells me, you do 100 at a time now for the bigger events, why don't you get someone to do it? I'm like, I can't, I have to do it myself because I have to make sure they look a certain way, they'll feel neat. And it's so hard for me to like, unless I find someone who can do it exactly the way I want it, it's difficult. So yeah, I feel like I'm learning to let go now. It's taken me a long time. And I have been delegating. I've let people do my setup a little bit, even though I'm still very like, you know, it's not looking the way I want, but I've learned to let go. And I feel like, I wish I had done that. Learned to let go a little earlier. Because at the end of it, people who are experiencing the vibe don't really see the details that I'm so fixated on, right? But obviously, because I'm the one organizing it and I know all of it. But when people come and they're just like, I didn't even notice, like, what are you talking about, right? So, I wish I had learned to let go, earlier.
And with the overthinking part, I feel like overthinking is very common around everyone, especially around females, because it's like they're always thinking, will this even work out for me? And so how do you feel like you kind of got around that part when you were starting?
I did definitely overthink before, but I think as I kept picking up, I stopped overthinking. It was just very like go with the flow. So I feel like once you're committed and you're consistent with what you started, it kind of naturally comes to you.
You build your confidence in it.
You build your confidence, you know how things are running, and you kind of just go with the flow. So it's a lot easier to do that then.
So don't think, just do, basically.
Just do,
Don't think, guys, just do it. Like, put yourself out there, do it. Your whole sip and paint and your workshops even as you conduct, those are like your business side of things, and then you also, you're a parent on the other hand, you run a household, you have to manage a lot of different things. How do you work around that? How do you manage your time around that?
Well, I feel like there's very little time always, and I'm always scrambling. I'm always trying to fit everyone in, and it does get really busy. But I think one thing that has really helped is having a very, very supportive family system. I mean, my husband really helped me out in all my events. He's actually out there setting with me. My parents have really helped me out. Amna has really helped me out. That's Nurel's older sister. So I think having a supportive family has been very, very helpful.
That's amazing. So for moms who are starting their own businesses, it is important to have that kind of support system, or find it through the way if you don't. So that's amazing. That's great insight on how you operate as well. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this. I feel like we got great insight on an amazing artist who runs her own business, and anyone who wants to learn some more about it, I will link all of Minelle's Instagram post, right?
It's mostly through Instagram.
Through Instagram, so I'll be linking her Instagram and her email. So if you ever want to get in touch for a sip and paint, for a personal sip and paint that you want to host, you do those as well.
Come to the sip and paint. I promise a really good time.
Come to the sip and paint. She promises a great time. You know, she'll manage her time around you. And thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, smaller. Last one, Nurel.
Last one.